Welcome back. We have 7.3. As you can see, we're skipping 7.2 right now. And we're just going to move on to 3 new exponent rules. We're only going to do 2 today, and we'll do the third one tomorrow. So, first one is the product of powers property. And it's when you're multiplying with the same base. So notice we have our kind of rule as it would appear on any type of formula sheet or notes or anything like that. And the important thing to notice here is that this x and this x are the same exact variable. Those have to be the same base. That's what it means by same base. So think of this as 2 to the third times 2 to the fourth. That's going to equal, once again, as long as these bases are the same, they're both 2's, 2 to the 3 plus 4, which would be the same thing as 2 to the 7th. And the reason that is true is just remember the way exponents work, it's just multiplying that number that many times. So 2, 3 is the same thing as saying 2 times 2 times 2. And 2 to the fourth is the same thing as saying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 4 times. And then if you take a look, how many 2's do we have? We have 7 2's. So that is why if we have the same base here, same base, we add the exponents. 3 plus 4 equals 7. So let's take a look at a couple of these examples. X squared times x cubed. Once again, as long as they are the same base, all we have to do is add those exponents. So it's going to be x to the 2 plus 3, which is x to the 5th. X to the 5th. Go ahead and actually try the other 3 on your own right now. Give them a shot, pause the video, come back, and I will work them out. All right, x to the 5th times x to the 4th is going to be x to the 5 plus 4, which is x to the 9th. Four to the 2 plus 3 is equal to 4 to the 5th. And anytime we do get a nice number there, we can just actually get the answer. So once again, let's ask Google. Hey Google, what is 4 to the 5th power?
4 to the 5th is 1024.
1024 for our answer there. And then x cubed times y squared. Careful if this one tripped you up. The correct answer for this one is x cubed y squared. Why do you think that we didn't combine those? Hopefully you notice that here we do not have the same base. We have an x and we have a y. They're not the same base, so we can't combine them. So we just leave them exactly as is. There's nothing we can do. All right, next rule is the power to a power property. Just FYI, you won't ever need to know the names of these properties. You just need to know how they work. So first of all, notice what's the difference between this one and the last one we did. So what looks different between this box and this box? And you'll see here we only have one base. It's the x. Here we have 2 bases. We have an x times an x, both with different exponents. So here, when we have just one base and we have a power that then has an additional power, we're going to multiply them. This is kind of like distributing. It's not exactly the same thing, but it functions the same as far as distributing exponents. We just multiply those 2 exponents together. The base is going to stay the same. We're not going to touch the base. Just like here, we didn't change the base, right? 4 squared times 4 cubed. We kept the same base as 4. We'll get it over there. And a little bit about why this works. So here, let's say we have 2 to the 3rd to the 4th. If we expand them out, remember, anything to the fourth is just that thing multiplied 4 times. So we can take this thing and multiply it 4 times. So according to our rule, it'll be 2 to 3 times 4, which is 2 to the 12th. Okay, now let's expand it out. So remember, it's just the thing to the 4 times. So we have 2 cubed times 2 cubed times 2 cubed times 2 cubed. Okay, and now when it looks like this, right, we said we have 2 cubed 4 times. So we have it once, twice, 3, and 4. Then we can use this rule and add the exponents. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. So that's why this works out. Let's do it. So x squared to the 4th is going to be the same thing as x2 times 4, which is x to the 8th. Next one, b to the 4 times 5, which equals b to the 20th. Okay, pause the video if you haven't yet, see if you can get the correct answers here. All right, a little bit just to note, if you don't see an exponent, all right, now that I have everything muted, if you don't see an exponent, remember there's an invisible 1 there. So w to the 3rd is the same thing as saying w to the 1st to the 3rd. And in this case, we're just going to multiply 1 times 3 to get w to the 3rd. And last but not least, x to the 0 to the 7th. Now this is interesting. We can actually attack this 2 different ways and we'll get the same answer. So if we're just strictly doing our rule we learned today, we know this would be x to the 0 times 7. 0 times 7 is just 0, and anything to the 0 power from 7.1 is just going to be 1. That's our answer. But if you remembered that anything to the 0 is 1 right away, then we can take a little detour and say x to the 0 is just going to equal 1 to the 7th, right? Because if x to the 0, anything to the 0 is 1, and then 1 to the 7th, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, 7 times, is just going to give you an answer of 1 as well. So the nice thing about exponent rules is it doesn't matter the order that you do them necessarily. You should still get the right answer as long as you're using them correctly. So after this, do make sure you check Schoology for the next couple steps for 7.3, and then we will finish 7.3, the back of this page, tomorrow.